And just like that, we are back in business. Booyah! Saturday night, y'all ready to have some fun? Watch page just popped on, and we are on and popping, y'all. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't have any plans. Here I am, a single guy, no girlfriend, no wife, no kids, no plans. Saturday night, I'm thinking, you know what? Let's get all crazy and talk about the Hantavirus. Yeah! Doesn't that sound like an awesome, amazing time to you? Well, hell yes, it does. All right. All joking aside, the top headlines right now is that there's a deadly outbreak on a cruise ship, and it looks like they may be setting the script in motion for the next big global epidemic. That's their narrative. We're going to dive into that tonight and a whole lot more, y'all. You guys ready to have some fun? Saturday night live stream time. Let the madness begin. All right, I see Z-Fam says, yes, sir. Suzette Ann says, same for me, Jake. Kelly Yamaguchi says, hello, Jake. Saturday. All right. See Rose Bell's in the house. Hi, Rose. See Holden's here as well. Hi, Holden. You guys ready to rock and roll? You guys ready to do this thing? Jonna's here. Hi, Jonna. Nice to see you again. All right. Saturday nights, all right. All right. So yeah, guys, tonight we're going to be discussing a next possible pandemic or the next possible nothing burger. You know, they've done this a few times now where they whip out a new virus and start talking about it. And then by the next week, the story's dead and they're talking about something else. So we may be looking at a total nothing burger that might be gone by next week. But just to be sure, we're going to take a look into this cruise ship where supposedly some people died and these passengers are going to be brought back, and supposedly they may or may not spread this disease around. So we're going to get into all that tonight because that is the top story on the world stage right now. So if you guys haven't been keeping up on the world stage, that's what I'm here to do, is consume this bullshit for you and then explain it to you as best I can. And then let you make up your own decision from there, of course. All right. Suzette Ann says, I hope it's a nothing burger. Yeah, me too. The last time wasn't fun. And I don't want to see the store employees, you know, like the grocery store employees, start to act like they're some sort of authority figure just because they believe what's on TV, like what happened last time. So yeah, last time there were some store employees that thought that they could like physically remove you from a store if you didn't wear a mask, or they thought they could like physically enforce you wearing a mask if you chose to enter the grocery store, right? So there was a whole lot of store employees acting like authority figures. And that's probably my biggest gripe from last time. It's like, say what you want on TV, but normies who believe what's on TV better not touch me or mess with me at the store. If we're going to do this again, they better not touch me when I show up to the store. All right. That's my biggest thing. All right. You guys ready to dive in? Before we get into the news clips and all that, got the pre-show super chats like usual. I'm going to get through them as quickly as possible, and we'll get the party started. RY says, Richie from Boston advertises his super organic Bible vape juice plus and brags about how it can protect you from new hantavirus.
So, as you've been seeing, the top story right now is about this new supposed virus on this cruise ship. Let me tell you what, folks. What you're seeing is the exact side effects that you would expect from the Chinese nano drones, and they're using this as a cover story. So, what I've done to alleviate more anuses from these Chinese nano drones is I've developed a double strength organic Bible vape juice. So what this is, it's twice as strong as my regular Bible vape juice, which works great. But not only is it twice as strong, it works twice as good, twice as fast. In fact, that's exclusively what I am vaping now and will be vaping from now on. So you're going to want to order my Richie from Boston's Organic Bible Vape Juice Plus. The promo code is down below. All right. Now, I'm not telling you this is what you should do. I'm telling you that this is advice that came directly from the Heavenly Father. All right. I work through God. I am a warrior of God. And it's because of God that I created such a wonderful product that I 100% believe in. So you can like, share, subscribe, but don't. It's Richie from Boston, and I'm out.
There you go. I think that's sufficient to get us started. RY wants me to do Trump and RFK having a conference about the new jab. All right, so as you all know, last time we were quite successful. Actually, I think I missed one of your other super chats. My bad, bro. This one right here. I read it before we started the stream, and then I just accidentally skipped over it. All right, so we'll do this one, and then we'll go to the RFK one. That way I'm knocking them out in the correct order. Trump reminisces about the success of Operation Warp Speed and announces Operation Warp Speed 2 for the hantavirus. Nobody can do it better. All right, so we'll do this one, and then we'll knock out the RFK one right after that. All right. So as you all know, we successfully were able to get through the corona outbreak back in 2020. And the reason why is due to the great success of the Operation Warp Speed, which I came up with, by the way. And because all of you people, most of you anyway, the smart ones, you took my advice. I told you to go get the vaccine and get the booster. And a lot of you did. And that's why we saw a great turnaround. That's why the coronavirus and the pandemic is in our rearview mirror now. So this time, I don't want anyone to worry. I don't want anyone to panic. So what we're going to do is we're going to deploy Operation Warp Speed Part 2 before this hantavirus even has a chance to get a foothold. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to make this new vaccine free of charge. All right. You know who we're going to have financed the whole thing? China. And here to tell you more about this wonderful development, none other than the legendary RFK. He's got a lot of genius, this guy, RFK. A lot of genius.
Thanks, President Trump. Now, as you all know, I am definitely not anti-vaccine. In fact, there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation circulating the internet about me, and I want to dispel those rumors right here, right now. I am, in fact, pro-vaccine, but I've always said that you should only take the ones that make sense, the ones that you've researched first and you've weighed whether or not it's the correct vaccine for you and your circumstance. So I don't want anyone to get it twisted thinking that I'm anti-vaccine. So right here, along with President Trump, we're going to announce the rollout of Operation Warp Speed Part 2 right after I take a massive dump because I've got a turd lodged in my ass.
All right. There you go. Little Trump and RFK for you. All right. RY wants, or this time, no, impression requests. He just says, at Jake the Awake, the truth messenger of our time. Sweet. A layup super chat. Thank you, RY, getting us started with the first several super chats of the night. All right, we got Big Money Bob coming in with 5 gifted Jake the Awake memberships. Big Money Bob. You guys, if you get one of these gifted memberships from Big Money Bob, thank him. He's doing the Lord's work by gifting out these memberships. He's like Santa Claus, except better, because he's for real, right? Like Santa Claus isn't real, but Big Money Bob giving out gifted memberships in my chat, that's for real, man. So if he bestows one of these memberships upon you, in fact, it's the luck of the draw. Apparently, when he buys these memberships, like 5 of you randomly will just get one. So if you get one, you know who to thank. All right. RY says he wants Mag talking about how there is no Ralphie. Let me tell you something, people. When you say Jake the Awake on the YouTube and it's got this dog on screen, Ralphie, there is no such thing as a Ralphie. It's an animatronic robot dog, people. Let me tell you something. There's no such thing as a dog that's that cute. Only dog look that cute has to be a animatronic robomatoid dog. Let me tell you something, people. There is no Ralphie. It's a dumb shit to fool the masses. Right now, trick his audience into thinking he's got the cutest beagle. There is no such thing, people, as a Ralphie. Need to wake your ass up right now. Hit you with the bam. I'm gone. Speaking of, now he's got to make a quick appearance. Ralph, got to make a quick appearance. Everybody's going to wonder where you're at if I talk about you and then don't bring you on camera. There he is. There's Ralph making his appearance before he takes a nap. There's my whelps. All right. There you go, buddy. There you go. All right. Vladder with a super chat says, Mahan Praveen is man on the moon. Mahan Praveen is man on the moon. I'm not sure what the hell you're talking about, buddy. Mahan Praveen? I have to look up what you're talking about. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I showed this guy in a clip like a week or 2 ago in a stream. Now I remember. Okay.
Hey guys, today we're standing inside an ancient temple in India, and here's something really bizarre. Look at the statue. At first glance, you'll notice he has a big belly. But when you look closer, and I mean really closer, this figure begins to tell us a much deeper story.
Oh, God. This is how you get lots of subscribers and views, you guys. Over 2 million subs, 264,000 views. That's how you got to do it. You got to make content like this, right? That's one of the main reasons why my channel never really grows outside of football seasons, because I don't make good content like that guy. Yeah, I need to harness that guy's special sauce and apply it over here so we can get those kind of numbers. No, you know, I'd totally ruin everything if I started making content like that. All right. Cactus Jack says, sell me some Trumptricity. I got to tell you right now, we're hard at work at these building Trumptricity factories all over the United States. There's a lot of rumors about data centers. Let me tell you what, these are Trumptricity factories. The only one talking about data centers are the liberals. It's because they're liars, all right? A lot of lying going on, talking about data centers. Let me tell you what, Trumptricity is going to revolutionize the world. It's leaner, greener, meaner, far superior than electricity ever dreamed of being. Quite frankly, people are going to be ashamed of themselves if they're still using electricity once we unroll and unravel Trumptricity. It's gonna overtake all of electric devices overnight. It's gonna revolutionize the world. So you're gonna want to jump on board now. We're not talking about billions and billions of dollars in profit. We're not talking about trillions and trillions and trillions. We're not talking about quadrillions and quadrillions. We're talking sextillions and sextillions and sextillions of dollars in profit. All right. If that doesn't sell it to you, then I don't know what will, sir. Got everybody wanting that Trumptricity now. John Kessel with a gifted Jake the Awake membership. All right. And Invid24 said Beavis and Butthead go get their updated shots.
So like, where are we going?
I already told you, dumbass. We have to go get our Hantavirus shot so that we can go to concerts again.
Oh, yeah. But like, why?
'Cause, dumbass, they said they're not going to let us go into concerts and see AC/DC unless we can prove that we've got like a vaccination or something.
Oh, okay. So like, is it gonna hurt?
Yeah, but only if you're like a huge pussy. So yeah, you're probably gonna cry because you're a pussy, Beavis.
No way. I'm not gonna cry. You're gonna cry, bunghole.
Beavis, you cried last time I kicked your ass.
No way. I had dust in my eye, butthead. I totally never cried. I kicked your ass.
Beavis, you monkey spanker. You've never kicked my ass. All right. There you go. Little beaver and butt knock there. Going to get their vaccination shots. RY says Elmo speaks out against all the new data centers.
You want to know what really pisses Elmo off? Elmo's sick and tired of having all of Elmo's data stolen. Elmo sees all of these data centers that are springing up everywhere, and no one seems to care about Elmo. So Elmo is here to sound the alarm right now. Everybody needs to wake up. They're gonna steal your data, and they're gonna make an AI version of everyone, and they're gonna replace us with AI robots. For Christ's sake, why won't anyone listen to Elmo?
All right. Doxological Thinker says, can you do Aaron Haywood saying you play the role of fittest flat earther, then fittest flat earther makes a video and proves you are actually Aaron Haywood? Well, all right. I've been doing some research and I've discovered that Jake the asshole calls himself Jake the Awake now. He's playing a role of the fittest flat earther, also known as Tyler Hansen. Clearly, he's a bloody shape-shifting, moldy rolling icons. Actually, that's not true. And the only reason that Aaron Haywood is saying that is because he's a fallen angel. And what he's actually doing, he's covering up for this other deceiver because they're the same deceiver. Here you can see Aaron Haywood has a very noticeable scar right under his cheek. And Jake, he also has the same scar, but it's very faint. So if you compare these two scars, it's very clear. Jake the Awake is Aaron Haywood. They're fallen, shape-shifting vampire angels. All right. There you go. I believe that's sufficient. You have to be a regular watcher of my live streams to be following along with some of these impressions. Otherwise, you might be lost. If you're a casual viewer, you might be like, who are these people? What the hell's he talking about? Yeah. See, this type of stuff right here is like inside jokes for the people who've been here for a long time, for the people who never miss a stream. All right. So I believe we have gotten through all of the super chats and we can get the show started. You guys ready to have some fun tonight? Talk about the next possible pandemic. That's right, guys. This might be it. This might be the next pandemic. Or might be a total nothing burger that people forget about by tomorrow. So either way, I guess I'll cover it and then we'll wait and see what they do. Now, here's a rule of thumb. We can start to worry when we see them shut down the sports leagues and the casinos. Then we know they mean business. Then we know they're for sure rolling out the next pandemic. So it's all fun and games until you see them shut down the sports leagues and then shut down the casinos. When they shut down the casinos and their scripted sports, then they damn sure are serious with wanting to run their next pandemic script. So they haven't done that yet. All the sports leagues still up and running. All the casinos still open. So for those of you who haven't heard, let me go ahead and play the mainstream news clip, and then we'll dive right into this subject. All right. So apparently there's a new bug called Hantavirus that's broke out on a cruise ship. And before I say any more than that, I'll let the mainstream news do the talking for a few minutes, and then we'll discuss it further. All right.
Tonight, a desperate plea from passengers trapped on board a cruise ship.
What's happening right now is very real for all of us here.
Where a suspected hantavirus outbreak has left 3 people dead and another in intensive care. The ship, now docked off the coast of Africa, has 149 people on board, including at least 3 others who the ship's operator says require medical care. For now, nobody is being allowed off the boat.
We're not just headlines. We're people with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home.
Hantavirus is usually spread by rodents. It's the same disease that killed Betsy Arakawa, the wife of late actor Gene Hackman.
Wow! What a story, huh?
There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part.
It's unclear if the passengers on this ship were infected on board or before getting on.
All right, so right away, the things I spot is this fella here seems to look to his right, up and to the right. So almost seems like he's looking at something and, reading something, as in reading a script off of a teleprompter.
With people waiting for us at home.
All right, we're going to get back to this guy in just a minute, but let's get through this news report. And I see the super chats that have come in, so let me make a few points, and then we'll get to all of this and your super chats and much more.
Virus is usually spread by rodents. It's the same disease that killed Betsy Arakawa, the wife of late actor Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman. Hackman Gene. Hackman's Gene. An actor's wife, Gene Hack Man Hack Gene. How about that? All right. So as you guys can see, got the number 3. So I was waiting for him to go ahead and say the number 33 in some way, shape, or form. And so when I did a search for this cruise, I found the number 33, of course, associated with this cruise right here. Wall Street Journal, the 33-day Atlantic Odyssey that turned into a hantavirus nightmare. 33-day Atlantic Odyssey. So there's the 33 connection. All right. Also, they had 3 people evacuated. Here it is. 3 people evacuated from the cruise ship, and 3 people supposedly died. So there, of course, is our 33s and all of their 3s that they like to put into their news stories. So check as far as that is concerned, right? All right, so back to the news story itself.
There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part.
And then this fella looking over to his right as if he's reading something.
It's unclear if the passengers on this ship were infected on board or before getting on. And while rare, there is a variant that is transmitted human to human. It's typically found in South America, which is where this cruise ship originated 3 weeks ago.
In the very rare case of human to human transmission, it does require direct contact with human bodily fluids.
As the ship's operator figures out next steps, everyone on board is stuck waiting.
All right, so a lot of people have pointed out that it doesn't appear like there's anyone on that cruise ship. So all of the shots are just of what appears to be an empty boat. So the story is that this deadly virus just broke out on that cruise ship, and some of the passengers are being returned back to their home countries, and they're going to have to quarantine. That word's going to come back up. So we're going to start to hear words like quarantine and lockdown associated with this story. All right, Chad Hurry with the donation says, Richie from Boston and Roseanne hitting the bong of organic Bible vape juice mixed with chronic.
Oh my fucking God. I hope we're not headed into like another pandemic, because that last one was fucking crazy. All the commies were acting fucking crazy whenever I would go to the grocery store. They better not pull that same shit again.
I know. I'm here thinking the same thing, Rosie. I'm not ready to deal with this shit again. In fact, we better go stock up on toilet paper immediately, because I don't want to see the same thing happen when all of these damn news-watching sheeple show up to the supermarket and there's lines out the door and everyone buys up all the toilet paper. You know what we need to do? We need to get out ahead of this, and we need to stock up on as much toilet paper as possible. And then we're just going to sit back. We're going to vape our 100% organic Bible vape juice plus cartridges mixed with this wonderful organic chronic, and we are going to be A-okay. Richie from Boston, my lovely bride-to-be, Roseanne, and we are out.
Yeah. Becky, get down here and vape some of this organic Bible vape juice so you can get rid of the Chinese nano drones from your fucking ass. You know, I've been trying to get Darlene to take some of Richie's organic Bible vape juice, but she's a fucking libtard commie and she doesn't want to take any of it, you know. She's probably going to take the vaccination. All right. This is all comedy for entertainment purposes only, you guys. None of these opinions of mine are meant to be taken as medical advice. So don't anyone take any medical advice from the comedian who's performing all of these comedic requests. Okay? Just want to make that clear. Okay, YouTube? Okay, AI overlords? All of you robots watching me right now? I'm just kidding. All right? It's just a joke. Relax. Get the sand out of your vaginas, okay? All right. Earlsworth says, appreciate you, bro. Hey, I appreciate you too, bro. I appreciate all the super chat love coming in tonight. You guys are awesome. RY says, Jake, didn't this happen in 2020 when they supposedly wouldn't let passengers off a cruise ship for a month or something? Yeah, there's a lot of parallels between this, but as I'll show you, everybody's repeating this one line over and over again across all of the networks. This is not the same as Corona. This is not the same as the last pandemic. This is different. So you're going to hear that a lot, that this is different. This is not the same as last time. But yeah, there's already some similarities starting to pop out. So like I said, I don't know if for sure that's what they're rolling out is the next Plandemic 2.0. I can't say for sure. We'll know for sure if they shut down the NBA and Major League Baseball in the casinos. Then we'll know. Doxological Thinker says, definitely an unnatural amount of threes. Like, why else would you say stuff like 149 on board with 3 others? Just say 152. So, yeah, the news reports will say 3 evacuated, 3 dead, 33-day cruise. And then this cruise ship went to places that I've talked about. And then that guy who was on screen acting all scared and shit. Yeah, that guy's name is Jake. And the cruise ship went to Antarctica and Ushuaia, places I've talked about on this channel over the last couple of years, you know. So there's some strange shit that goes beyond coincidence, right? But if you point at it, you know, to anyone who's not aware of the world stage and the script, then you'll just seem like a crazy person, right? And that's what they're banking on. So there's a fair amount of gaslighting going on with this story already. All right. Cactus Jack says, Truthner, Q and Fee and Jaren gossiping about how much they dislike Jake the Awake. So yeah, you guys, Jake stole my NFL rigged videos. He was talking about stupid stuff like flat earth, and then he stole my NFL rigged videos ideas. So that's why I stopped doing it, you know, because he came along and he stole the one thing that I was doing that people liked and appreciated about me. And then once he stole it and did it better, then nobody had any reason to watch me, and people realized I'm just a pissed off, monotone, boring hack. So then they stopped watching me. Yeah, that also happened to me right after I made a video claiming that Jake has sex with his dog. Lots of people lose interest in watching my content. That's because they are a stupid piece of shit. Jake's audience, they're stupid, and that's why they don't watch my videos. Piece of shit.
Hey guys, Jaren here. I had to retire from YouTube because I'm the only real truther, you guys. I don't live stream anymore. I don't upload videos. I had to go get a job at CVS as a janitor because just can't cut the mustard anymore on YouTube. I'm the only real truther, guys. I'm the only real one who ever told the truth, guys. I went to Antarctica with Will Duffy. I saw the sun do a 360. Therefore, the Earth Has to be a globe, you guys. The Earth cannot be flat. I'm the only one telling the truth. That's why I don't have a job on YouTube, because if you tell the truth, no one likes you anymore.
There you go. All right. Big Money Bob gifting 5 more Jake the Awake memberships. Awesome. Thanks, Big Money Bob. Double fist bumps to Big Money Bob. RY wants Jack Morgan upset about the cruise ship. So just seeing this news report, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting a little nervous. Last time, 2020, that shit sucked, you guys. I was a bartender at the time, and when the bar shut down, I didn't have a job. I was living out of my car. Yeah, my dad got all strung out on coke. It was crazy. I was trying to skateboard, and everywhere I went, everyone was wearing a mask like a zombie. It was crazy. I had to take a hit, metaphorically speaking, that is. Wow. So, hearing this story about this Hantavirus just gives me PTSD from thinking about what we went through in 2020. I was telling my girlfriend, if this happens again, I don't know what we're going to do. I might have to just do these mundane TikTok reaction videos for the rest of my life. Take a hit, metaphorically speaking. Maria, we sound good. There you go. Little Jack Morgan for that ass. Doxological Thinker says, can you do Neil deGrasse Tyson saying some random fact about how the new virus shows wonders of the universe? Tiny minds that think that the earth is flat have a tiny way of thinking about the world. Those of us who know that the earth is in fact an oblate spheroid hurtling through space, we have a much larger capacity for learning true knowledge about the cosmos. And that's why it's those of us who are doing real research into the Hantavirus, so we can look for ways to overcome a possible global epidemic. You won't see any flat earthers doing this research. They're too busy living in their mom's basement eating Hot Pockets. That's why you never see any flat earthers out in outer space discovering any new planets. Those who have a tiny way of thinking will remain in their mother's basement eating friggin' Hot Pockets, while those of us who are truly making scientific discoveries outside of our realms of our own cosmos, we are truly at the forefront of human discovery. All right. That's probably like something he would say. Oh, and these are his eyebrows. I don't have gigantic eyebrows like Neil deGrasse Tyson, so I use my hands to do the eyebrows. All right. Back to this story now, y'all.
And hoping the virus is contained.
All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home.
And right now, the ship says it's working closely with health officials and local authorities. The World Health Organization says that it's doing testing and sequencing of the virus to figure out what strain the infected passengers have. That will likely help them figure out next steps. Tom.
Okay. All right. So let's take a closer look at that fella who they showed a couple clips of, and we'll watch the entire clip. So I had to find a clip of that guy, Josh Rossmarin, who appeared on screen there talking about how he just wants to get home to his family. I had to go look up that clip because I wanted to see it in its entirety, because there was a few things I noticed, and I'm sure you guys will notice as well. All right. Here it is. So this is the supposed passenger who was locked down on the cruise ship.
I normally wouldn't make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius. And what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part. All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home. So if you're seeing coverage about this, just remember that there are real people behind it, and that this isn't something happening somewhere far away. It's happening to us right now. I'll share more when I can, but for now, I just ask for your kindness and understanding. Thank you.
Okay, now you've seen it in its entirety.
I normally wouldn't make a video like this, but
So I want to point out, if you watch his eyes, he tends to look over in this direction, so up and to his right, almost like he's reading a script and then making eye contact with the camera lens, and then looking back at the script, and then back, almost like this, right? So if I was to look right into the camera like this, and then over here, and then like this, and over here, and then like this, and over here, right? That's what I see him doing throughout this whole clip.
I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things.
Right there, see? It's looking off. And then he'll look into the camera.
Things down.
Right there.
I am currently on board the MV Honda.
Now he's looking away again.
Yes.
Now he's looking at the camera again.
And what's
now he's looking away again.
happening right now is very real for all.
See that?
All of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part.
Oh, and there was a cut. Right around the time when he was breathing hard, right? So there was the cut when he was doing that purposely hyperventilating routine.
And that's the hardest part.
See? That's the hardest part.
We want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home. So if you're seeing coverage about this, just remember that there are real people behind it, and that this isn't something happening somewhere far away. It's happening to us right now.
All right. So what do you guys think? I mean, you know, you guys are here. What do you guys think? The Golden Code says the acting is so bad. MRRN says he needs more acting classes. Holden says propaganda is getting more and more retarded by the day. Rostradamus says deep fake fairy. Hayden Fry says Rob Parker's son. Truth Hurts says I'm gonna puke. Scam Bankster Fraud says cue sappy music. VIP John 1 says reading a script as usual. Chad Hurry says this guy seems permanently lubed. Rose Bell. Flamer. I like the way Rose used the flame emoji and then ER. Very clever, Rose. All right. RY says, Jake, I feel like I need an impression of that passenger who just wants to feel safe.
I make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for
What's happening right now is very real, and that's why I had to write a few things down for you. And so I'm looking off and to my left, and I'm reading those things for you right now because I want everyone at home to realize that we are real people and that these are real lies. And so as I sit here scared, wondering what's going to happen next, I want you guys to please pray for us and hope that we get to come home soon and safely. And right now, if you could just pray for not only me, but everyone else who's on board right now, so that we can get back to our families safely.
There you go. It's pretty much what he's doing, right? I think they could have did a better job with somebody else, but you know, this is par for the course for what they usually get for these sort of operations.
all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people with families.
That's right. You know what? This kind of reminds me of a song.
With lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part. All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home.
It reminds me of a song, you guys. In fact, I think I can channel the song right now, right here live.
He's got the rat shit fever. Rat shit fever.
Everybody sing. Rat shit fever.
Bow, bow, bow. Rat shit fever. Rat shit fever. Fever. Fever.
All right, there you go. Rat shit fever. You heard it here first, folks. If you hear anyone else steal my parody song, Rat Shit Fever, and apply it to this story, well, then you know they're a goddamn comedy bit thief, and report them back to me, and I'll bitch slap their ass. All right? Don't nobody go stealing Rat Shit Fever. All right? That's mine. I came up with that. And I know it's brilliant as fuck. All right. Trout fishing at Hood Park with a very generous donation says the fake crying is so annoying. Right. Right. So this fella's name just happens to be Jake. So this is Jake Rossmarin. And this is the one guy who they've used so far as the poster boy for this story. So on all of the news clips that they first aired, he was the main guy that they showed as the to represent the passengers on board and how they feel, right? So basically, no matter what news report you watched, there's a strong chance you saw that clip cut up. Yeah, thank you very much, Trout Fishing at Hood Park, for the very generous super chat, sir. I appreciate that. Davy D. LaFleur said, scare tactics that sheep believe. Even the sheep, I have a feeling, aren't going to fall for this one quite like they did last time, right? Even the sheep are like, nope, not doing this again. I'm not listening. Not going to even listen to anything about no freaking hantavirus, all right? I'm already seeing people on social media like get out in front of this one and say, nope, not participating. We're not doing this again. But it also looks like they're purposely creating a controlled opposition to this story already. So that's also possibly a reason to be concerned, as it looks like they're setting up a controlled opposition narrative to go against this story already. So we'll see where they take this story over the next few weeks, whether they stick with it or sweep it under the rug. All right. RY says, can you do Alex Jones as a passenger on that cruise ship?
So, folks, as you know, InfoWars is done and over with, and I wanted to take a vacation. And, of course, the cruise that I got on there just so happens to be this friggin' goddamn outbreak. And this time, folks, I'm not kidding around. This is real. There's people saying that they don't believe that this is a real virus. Folks, I was there. I saw the dead bodies with my own two eyes. Saw them 3 people getting evacuated. I saw their lifeless body. Folks, this is real. Now, I can't tell you that this is going to be another pandemic like before. This is different, but this is very deadly. This is a call right now going out to all of these deep state global cocksucking sons of bitches. I am prepared to eat my neighbor's ass. I will not go down without a fight. In fact, right now, feeling a little hungry, getting some hunger pains right now. Folks, I'm not kidding around. If I don't eat some of my neighbor's ass soon, I'm going to die. I'm going to die right now. Boo, friggin' who? I got hunger pains. I need my neighbor's ass.
All right. Okay, let's get back into this story, because there's a shitload of mainstream news about this story. It's like the top story. So right now there's like hundreds of different news stories, but they're all essentially reporting the same stuff. Oh yeah, I found a clip of a guy who's supposedly a survivor, and then also they're wheeling out the YouTube doctors to warn everybody about how dangerous this supposedly is. So whenever you see them whipping out the YouTube doctors, then you know you have an issue. And there's also a X-Files clip that talked about this in the X-Files movie. So I'll show that as well. All right. So this one talks about a supposed survivor of the hantavirus.
First, a handful of states are keeping close watch on travelers making their way home from that cruise ship disaster. It was hit with a deadly outbreak of hantavirus.
It includes at least one Arizonan who's said to be back home here now and healthy. Health officials say the risk to the general public is very low and there's no need at all to panic. Karina Rubio is here in the studio tonight with the latest. A lot of people talking about this. You have some insight on what's going on, plus also some insight from a man who survived it.
That's right. And first and foremost, public health officials say that Arizonan is not showing any symptoms. So that means that person is not being tested or quarantined, because human-to-human transmission is rare and only happens through very close contact. But they are in contact with this person daily to check for any developments. For one of our coworkers here at Arizona's Family, hantavirus caused tragedy for his family. But he echoes that same message to not worry. Hantavirus has killed 3 passengers on the MV Hondius. Investigators believe a couple contracted the disease in Argentina before boarding. The number of people infected has grown to 9 as the cruise ship now sails towards Spain.
With an outbreak like this, things change very quickly.
The Hantavirus headlines don't bring panic to Gilbert Cermeño, but they do bring back painful memories. We know him as longtime Arizona's Family photojournalist, Z.
2002 was my hell year.
24 years ago in April, Z got a call that his mom was in the hospital and it didn't look good.
Exactly. Joe Kerr with a donation says, between the new virus, aliens, Iran, the attempt on Trump again, it's like they're throwing a bunch of shit and trying to see what sticks. This is the most concurrent, simultaneous scripts with major psyops all running at once like I've never seen before. So, you know, we're used to them running one psyop right after another, and one bleeds into the next and whatnot. And sometimes they'll run major stories at once. But right now, it's like they have the alien disclosure story, and then they have the or UFO disclosure story, I should say. And then they have the war in Iran, Strait of Hormuz shit. People are done talking about the last White House shooting. People are done with that. So now they're serving up this Hantavirus story. And so, yeah, right now, man, they have the fake news stories in full gear right now. Like, they got so many damn scripts running at once. You might be right. They might be trying to see what sticks right now. So, like I said, they can say whatever they want, but when the sports leagues and the casinos shut down, and then they put up plexiglass at the supermarket, and then all the sheep start masking up, then we'll know that they mean business. All right, but they do look like they're putting a lot of time and effort into this story. Like, this isn't just like 1 or 2 news outlets running this. It's all the news outlets, and they've been running it for like 3-4 days now. Pretty hardcore. So they've put some time and energy into this. So we'll see where it goes.
Flew home, got a chance to see her at the hospital, and by the time I made it to our farmhouse, she was gone.
His mother's death was just the beginning of his hell year.
April 27, 5 days later, my sister, who was in her 40s, died. She was a paraplegic and was in a wheelchair from a car accident. And they lived together in the same house.
It was the same rural West Texas house that Z and his wife at the time had recently cleaned.
And I was moving something around, and I could see this dust that kind of went airborne.
He could see the dust go airborne, you guys. The dust that just so happened to have rat urine particles on it. And he could see the rat urine particle dust. And he just so happened, or she just so happened, to breathe the urine-infested dust. Of course, that's what it was.
And in retrospect, that's exactly when I was exposed to mouse droppings.
So the story is, the mouse droppings can get airborne by combining itself with dust. So wherever there's mouse droppings and dust, and then the dust gets thrown up into the air, that's how you can get it into your system and contract this deadly virus, right? So, you know, anybody who has ever had a mouse or a rat in your house, and pretty much everybody at some point or another has dealt with a mouse, right? Even if you have a well-kept, clean house, you can still have a mouse show up or a rat show up in your house, or, you know. So any situation now, they can be like, oh, well, this person was probably around rat feces, right? So I'm already thinking in my head, like, oh my God, they could point at any homeless person and be like, oh, well, that person might have come in contact with rat feces. Oh, the poor people around town who live in the poor apartments and stay in the poor hotels, they probably came in contact with rats and rat feces and dust that has rat urine and feces on it. You see where I'm going? So they can probably associate this with like rat infested conditions such as where poor people live and where homeless people are, which is like increasingly everywhere right now with the cost of living so high and everybody living in shittier conditions. Now they can be like, oh, well, there's rats and rat droppings. See where I'm getting at, where I'm going with this.
And in retrospect, that's exactly when I was exposed to mouse droppings.
Hantavirus is mainly spread through direct contact with rodents or their droppings.
When we confirmed that my sister had the hantavirus, now that meant that everybody in that house had been exposed to it.
His family started researching and getting emergency numbers ready to go just in case. Then that very next month in May, Z was at a D-backs game in 105-degree heat, freezing.
How difficult was it to realize I have to head into the hospital now for the very thing that just took my sister and my mother?
That's 24 years ago.
Is that some duper's delight that I see? You know, this guy's been smirking, a little shit-eating grin this whole fucking interview. And there isn't anything to be smiling about, right? This story shouldn't be bringing back fond memories, making him smile. This should be a pretty touchy story to have to go back and tell, right? On camera. I'd figure it'd be a bit emotional to have to recall this. But no, look at him. Look at this motherfucker. The squinting of the eyes, the duper's delight. RY says, whatever happened to Dis-Ease X? So if you remember, probably like 2-3 months ago or whatever, they talked about, maybe it was 4 or 5 months ago. I don't remember, but they talked about Nipah virus for like a few days straight. And there was all these news stories about Nipah virus. And so I ran a stream saying, hey, is this possibly going to be the next pandemic, this Nipah virus? And then by a few days later, the story was dead in the water. It was a total nothing burger. So I didn't want to repeat my Nipah virus stream that I did a few months ago. And those of you who catch every stream, you guys will probably remember we talked about Nipah virus and went over the news reports on that. And then it was here today, gone tomorrow. So I didn't want to repeat the exact same thing I did last time where I talk about this and then by the next day, the story's dead and it's a total nothing burger. But they've been talking about it for more than a day, more than 2 days, and they're still talking about it. So we have to consider maybe they might be rolling out the next possible pandemic story, but it might be another nothing burger. So I'm prepared either way for whatever they're going to do. But yeah, man, you never know. They could just like roll out some total nothing burger. And then it doesn't matter. Like the story won't matter at all. It'll be here today and gone tomorrow. Or this could be the beginning of the next plandemic. And oh my God, here we go. They're doing it again. Right? So I guess we'll find out. They can say whatever they want on TV. When the plexiglass goes up at the grocery stores and the plastic goes over the credit card machine and everybody starts acting like a zombie freak, that's when we'll know that they mean business. All right.
And it still feels like it was just yesterday. First of all, I miss them so much. To this day, it's still really hard for me to not get emotional about it.
Z spent about 20 days in the hospital. Doctors didn't initially think it was hantavirus, but Z knew, and he eventually tested positive.
I had this gray look about me.
He returned to work that July. 2 months later, in September, his father died of natural causes at 83 years old. As he thinks back on...
All right, so I wanted to show you some of these stories that they're airing. And then the doctors. They're having all the YouTube doctors all at once all say the same shit. And I don't trust doctors as it is, but I really, really do not trust YouTube doctors. For those of you who watch my NFL rigged videos, the top 10 most rigged plays, then you've seen me cover the fake NFL injuries, and they have a doctor who who will specifically cover the fake NFL injuries to legitimize them. So now I'm seeing all these YouTube doctors all like come out and start saying the same thing with the same talking points as far as the hantavirus goes.
And this virus is
a little bit about the hantavirus. What is it?
So the hantavirus is a virus that we typically get from rodents. So rats, other rodents like mice, those types of animals. And it's a virus that we get when we're exposed to the saliva or the urine or the feces of those rodents. There's one virus in particular of the hantavirus, the Andes virus, that has been documented to have human-to-human transmission.
And that's the one we're talking about in this case.
And so that is the one that's believed to be causing the infections on this cruise ship. And this virus is found in South America.
All right, so the title of the video is Hantavirus, the Next Pandemic? Doctor Explains. So right now, there's a shitload of doctors explaining this, and they're all saying pretty much the same shit. The same talking points as what this guy and all the other doctors I'll show you. They all are saying the same thing. But check it out. You got the white lab coat. And then look at his bow tie. And then right here, if you pay real close attention, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this or not, depending on what device you're watching this. He's got a rainbow flag pin, rainbow pin on his white lab coat, right? And so what they do is they have these doctors explain this on the nightly news to make it look like this is a professional opinion. This is an expert opinion, right? If you have the doctor on screen talking about this virus, then you know it's trustworthy information and not like some crazy cuckoo online spouting off conspiracy theories, right?
It's
okay.
It's nothing to sneeze at.
Okay.
I know. So let's pick it up with this virus is found in South America.
So this virus is found in South America, and this virus can transmit human to human. When we get sick, we typically get the symptoms of any other virus. So it's very similar to the flu or COVID, where you get fevers, headache, muscle pain, GI symptoms like nausea and vomiting. What we worry more about with this virus is it can progress to what we call a cardiopulmonary syndrome. So it's having a really bad pneumonia that also affects the heart, and you can get fluid that leaks into the lungs, that leaks out of the blood vessels, and you get very sick, very critically ill from this virus.
All right, so let me show you like some of the language that they're using, these doctors.
If you'd like to think about it this.
So check this one out. Ken D. Berry, almost 4 million subscribers. They got 200,000 views on this video. Hantavirus epidemic lockdown question mark, right?
Dr. Roger Schwelt, welcome back to the channel. Everybody's seeing the headlines, Hantavirus, a cruise ship has been quarantined. It's now being moved to the Canary Islands. Everybody's worried to death because of all the, what I would call fear mongering in the mainstream media, that this is the next pandemic situation. This is the next lockdown situation. You are quadruple board certified, which means you are a nerd's nerd. And that's why I love you so much. You are a full-time ICU doctor. You take care of respiratory illnesses and infections all the time.
How this all happened. So, viruses are different. And there are viruses that are extremely infective, like measles. And it's extremely infectious. You could just be next to somebody breathing the same air, and it's very likely you're going to get that virus. It's just the way the virus.
All right, I'll spare you guys the boredom, but all these doctors are saying like the same thing. Like, this is not the same as corona, and this is not as contagious as the coronavirus was. So they're all saying this is not the same. This is different. It's not as contagious, but there's a 40% death rate. So if 10 people catch it, 4 of them will die. right? So that's how they're scaring the shit out of people with this one. They're like, oh, it's not the same. It's not as contagious. But if you do catch it, 40% chance you die. So all the doctors are repeating the same talking points, and there's no shortage of YouTube doctors. So it doesn't matter what YouTube doctor you find. They're probably going to be saying this same shit, right? So they got the YouTube doctors there to inform people all about the dangers and tell them how it's contracted, right? To legitimize it in people's minds and get people aware of it and educated as to what it is, because you can't have people freak out about a virus if they're unaware of it. If they don't know it exists, it won't affect them. So in order for this virus to ever affect anyone, they have to essentially teach us what it is. In order for anyone to be afraid of it and have it affect them mentally and physically, they have to teach people what it is. So they have the YouTube doctors here to do that job. All right. And then what else do we got here? Oh, yeah. X-Files clip that talked about Hantavirus. So that's also making its rounds. The X-Files movie, apparently, I never saw it, but apparently it talked about Hantavirus in the movie. Let me see if I can show this clip without having the stream getting affected. Hopefully it's not copyrighted. Maybe if I pause it a few times, I can get through this clip. Here it is. All right. So maybe some of you guys might remember this clip from X-Files.
Virus at your mother. Are you familiar with the hantavirus at your mother?
Yeah, it was a deadly virus spread by field mice in the southwestern United States several years ago.
According to the newspaper, FEMA was called out to manage an outbreak of the hantavirus. Are you familiar with what the Federal Emergency Management Agency's real power is? FEMA allows the White House to suspend constitutional government upon declaration of a national emergency. Think about that. What is an agency with such broad sweeping power doing managing a small viral outbreak in suburban Texas?
You're saying it wasn't such a small outbreak?
No. I'm saying it wasn't the hantavirus.
Well, what was it? What was it?
I was recruited for a project. They told us it was biological warfare, a virus.
What killed those men?
What killed them, I won't even write about. We have no context for what killed those men, or any appreciation of the scale at which it will be unleashed in the future.
A plague?
The plague to end all plagues, Agent Mulder. A silent weapon for a quiet war. The systematic release of an indiscriminate organism for which the men who will bring it on still have no cure. They've been working on this for 50 years. While the rest of the world have been fighting gooks and commies, these men have been secretly negotiating a planned Armageddon.
Negotiating with whom?
I think you know. The timetable has been set. It'll happen on a holiday when people are away from their homes. The president will declare a state of emergency, at which time all government, all federal agencies will come under the power of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, the secret government. They call me paranoid. Go back to Dallas, Agent Mulder, and dig. Or we're going to find out along with the rest of the country.
All right, so some might consider that some predictive programming, right? There's a lot to unpack there. And of course, once I saw that and started putting this together in my mind, I'm like, oh shit. If they do turn this into the next pandemic 2.0, and then they have everybody locked down again, and then they do their fake alien invasion while we're locked down, and then so I was trying to think like, okay, if they lock everyone down, get everyone looking at their phones, TV screens, and computers, and then they do their fake alien invasion script or whatever, right? Or maybe they have the the Trump death script go down, once they have the lockdown script. So I was trying to think in my head, like, are they running all this at once in order to get everybody to pay attention, right? Like if they can manufacture pandemic number 2, get everybody to go home, look at their screens, and pay attention so that they can unravel the next huge psychological operation. But they need us to be all paying attention, right? So it's like perhaps they can't do the alien invasion until they have us all locked down and paying attention. But I was like, man, that'd be pretty ballsy to try and do another pandemic and an alien invasion back to back. That'd be pretty freaking ballsy. I don't know if they can pull that off. So it seems like they're kind of jumping the shark, right? So yesterday I was watching all these clips and I was trying to decide, like, should I make a video? Should I do a live stream? And there's so many clips and so much to show that I figured it would be better to just do a live stream like I'm doing now, right? And then maybe I can edit this down into a video after I finish doing the stream. So this basically consumed my entire day yesterday. I got caught up in this damn story and then the X-Files clips and then seeing who's saying what. So you got shills jumping out in front of the story, and then you got the mainstream narrative, and then you got the possible predictive programming here. So there might be more than meets the eye with this story. It might not be another nothing burger. All right. It looks like I missed a super chat that came in while I was showing the last clip, or a couple super chats. RY says, land on the moon guy is upset that Hantavirus might interfere with people getting to show up to the next 49ers game. I don't care what they say on the television. I am not going to let another pandemic stop me from watching my favorite football team, my friend. I will not be staying home. I will not be staying 6 feet away from all of my friends and family. I will not be wearing a mask like a freaking zombie, and I absolutely will not be taking any vaccination or booster shots whatsoever. I'm going to root for the 49er, and this is the year they will finally win the Super Bowl, my friend. And me and Shabir, we are going to party like it is the end of the world. Whether or not the world actually ends or not, my friend, that is another story for another day. All right. All right. Davey D. LaFleur from the LaFleur Network with a donation says 440 plus in the chat. Smash the like button. Go back, double check for the #1 truther source here on YouTube. Shout out to everyone in this chat room. Guys, it would actually really help if everyone watching right now hits the thumbs up. And if you're watching the replay tomorrow or next week or whenever, it would also help if you hit the thumbs up as well. So everybody watching right now, everybody who sees the replay, everybody who hears my voice right now, please do your boy a favor, hit the thumbs up, let the algorithm know you enjoy this content, right? All right. And thank you to Davey D for the super chat donation and the positivity. Davey D shows up to almost every single stream, almost always sends a donation, and is always showing his love and staying positive. I really, really appreciate that, Davey. All right. And thank you also for the multiple super chats from RY. He sent like, I don't know, a dozen super chats already. So RY shows a ton of love in every stream. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get back on track. What else do I want to show you? Oh, yeah, they're talking about quarantining the American passengers from the ship in Nebraska. So they're using words like quarantine again. And they're saying that the cruise ship has like 17 Americans who are going to make their way back, and they're going to need to isolate in a quarantine center in Nebraska. So apparently these people on this ship are totally cool with being basically prisoners, essentially, in Nebraska. So there's more to this story than they're letting on so far. Using words like quarantine again, almost getting us used to these words again. All right, here it is.
Earlier today, of course, another big story that we're following as the hantavirus remains a high priority topic due to the ongoing outbreak aboard a South Atlantic cruise ship, raising some significant concerns about its potential for human-to-human transmission. So joining us today to break this down is infectious disease Dr. Peter Chin-Hung. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us here.
Thanks for having me on, Anna.
Of course. So first things first, what likely happened on this cruise ship? Does this look more like maybe an onboard transmission where passengers were infected before boarding?
Yeah, so typically when we think about hantavirus, we think about a rat infecting a human through feces or saliva or urine. But in this case, what happened is that this is the only hantavirus where you can have human-to-human transmission. It's called the Andes virus. So a couple were likely bird watching in southern Argentina, where this virus is endemic. They were close to a landfill where there were probably a lot of rats and mice. They were asymptomatic when they went on board because you can have a long...
Some passengers got off the boat, went bird watching, were near a landfill. The landfill had rats. The rats had the hantavirus. There was also dust, so the dust and hantavirus from the rats went into the air, got breathed by these cruise ship members who were just out on an innocent bird walk, and then they got back on the ship having no idea that they just got infected by hantavirus, and they hadn't started showing symptoms yet. And then once the ship took off, it was days later that the virus reared its ugly head. That's the story, you guys. There's some people on a cruise ship were out bird watching and accidentally breathed some rat fecal matter dust. All right.
Incubation period up to 6 weeks. And then they infected other individuals on the ship unknowingly. So I think that's what's happening. I think the complication right now is that there were people who were let off on the boat sometime around April 24th or so, about 30 of them, before they knew it was hantavirus and before they knew it was potentially person-to-person transmission. So those people are kind of dispersed all over the world. They have to track them down. And the other complication is when the first person who died was evacuated out of the boat, there were individuals on that flight that might have been exposed. So again, what you're seeing now is investigations all over the world and extensive contact tracing.
How unusual is person-to-person spread in this strain of hantavirus, and how worried should the public be?
So in general, hantavirus, the virus that killed Gene Hackman's wife in New Mexico, got a lot of attention. In California, where I live, it's not unusual to have it in high altitude areas like Lake Tahoe or Yosemite, occasionally, very rare. Never person to person. This particular strain is the only one in the family. It lives in southern Argentina. And
this one particular strain of hantavirus is the only one that can be contracted person to person. It was just the unlucky luck of the draw that the people who got off the cruise ship just so happened to contract the one type of hantavirus that can be passed person to person. Just a really, really unlucky set of circumstances, you guys.
Chile, that is potentially person to person. We know a lot about it throughout the years, but there was a large outbreak in 2018-19 where 34 cases were described. There were 11 deaths, and most of the people didn't transmit it. It was only in 3 super spreaders. So that's kind of what we know.
3 super spreaders. Super spreaders.
We know that it's not easy to get. You have to be very symptomatic. It's in the setting of close contact.
I see the super chat here wanting me to sing my Mexican party song, the Mexican national anthem. I'll sing that song in just a few minutes, bro. Let me get through these a few minutes of this footage here and make a quick point, and then I'll knock out the Mexican song. Because whenever I start singing the Mexican song, people start to tune out. So right now we got a good crowd. So let me make a few more points, and then I'll knock out your super chat, bro. All right. So they're talking about quarantining the people on board in Nebraska. So let me show you the clip of that, because it'll blow your guys' mind what they're where they're saying they're going to keep these supposed cruise ship members.
We are tracking that the ship that is in focus will arrive in the Canary Islands sometime Sunday, and the passengers that are on that ship will be moved back to their home countries. So what we've been called on to do is to support the U.S. In bringing back a group of American citizens back to the U.S. safely, and to ensure that they're safely monitored.
There are 20 spaces in the quarantine unit, and we're making preparations to receive the 19 passengers, the U.S. citizens who will be repatriated. Each individual will have their own room. Each of the rooms looks very much like a hotel room.
What? So guys, 19 people from that boat are supposedly going to be quarantined in Nebraska. And they're all cool with that. And some of these people are asymptomatic and haven't been proven to have the virus. But I guess they're cool with just hanging out in this room in Nebraska and being monitored and watched. Okay. Imagine you go on a cruise, and then for the next indefinite amount of time, now you're a prisoner and you have to stay here and be watched over and monitored. Are you going to be cool with that? Is that going to be something you're just going to go along with? Like you take a cruise because you want to like go on vacation and relax, right? And then it turns into now you're a prisoner under quarantine and you have to live here. What? Pretty extreme. And I guess these people from the boat are totally cool with all this, right? You would think that at least one person from the boat would be like, fuck you. I'm not going to go here and spend the next indefinite amount of time in a goddamn prison where you watch everything that I do. Hell no.
With the addition of availability of Wi-Fi, of exercise equipment, if the quarantine is prolonged, those would be important in terms of making sure they're comfortable.
The individuals that we are currently planning on receiving have not been diagnosed with hantavirus. They are asymptomatic.
Did you hear? See, I'm not making this up. This is what they're saying.
Currently planning on receiving have not been diagnosed with hantavirus. They are asymptomatic.
The people we're receiving have not been diagnosed with hantavirus and they're asymptomatic, meaning they're fine, meaning nothing's wrong with them. But remember the rules that they set up back in COVID. Anyone can be asymptomatic and feel wonderful, but still have the virus and not know it, right? So you might feel wonderful. You might have woke up feeling stupendous that day, but if they stick that swab in your nose and it comes out and says positive that you have the virus, well, no matter how good you feel, you still have it. And so you have to be treated as though you're a contagious person who can kill those around you, right? So you see where they're going with this.
If the quarantine is prolonged, those would be important in terms of making sure they're comfortable.
The individuals that we are currently planning on receiving have not been diagnosed with hantavirus. They are asymptomatic as far as we know. I want to make that very clear that these are individuals that were on this ship, but they have been potentially exposed but not known to be infected with.
So if you're potentially exposed, haven't tested positive for shit, that's enough for you to spend an indefinite amount of time in quarantine in Nebraska in that room while being watched over and monitored all the time. Like, what? Wow, what a story. So, yeah, guys, that's the top story right now, making its rounds out there. Oh, yeah, and also UFOs have been disclosed within some files. So apparently, I didn't look at the files because I'm not a fucking sheep, but apparently there's files that have been released talking about UFOs. So they're disclosing UFO files at the exact same time they got the Hantavirus story going. So, all right. So what do you guys think? Yes, asymptomatic people are not to be trusted. Right. You could be a super spreader going around just killing millions of grandmas and grandpas, and you have no clue. You feel like $1 million, but actually deep within you is deadly contagions. So deadly that you don't have any symptoms and don't notice. But it could be there. Could be within you or me right now. Who knows? So you guys know all they have to do is just say that one of these passengers escaped or got loose, whatever, right? One of the passengers decided to go AWOL and they escaped the Nebraska facility. So now there is a confirmed possible super spreader on the loose. Right? Okay. Now I got to go back and read that super chat again. To prove I'm an OG, how does a Mexican party sound? All right. We're going to take a break from this fear prawn, all this fear prongering going on. And we're going to listen to my rendition of the of all of the Mexican songs ever written rolled into one. So basically, every Mexican song that's ever been written, produced, what have you, if you were to combine all of those songs together into one song, it would sound like this. Boone, 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 rum pam pam pam, boone, 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 rum pam pam pam. Ayine one en mayana, señorita abuchacha, digalone en Marianne, digalone di balo, ron ton ton ton, señorita muchacho, si hacerlo antes señor, si espero en Mariana, siempre oso de dalo. There you go. Every Mexican song rolled into one, and no, I don't speak Spanish. Which is why that sounded so awesome. All right. C. Kilo says Russell Brand in space on how complex rat shit is. Right now, I'm aboard the International Space Station, which is probably a good thing because right now, back down on Earth, it looks like there's a possible pandemic part 2 breaking out. Luckily, we all survived last time because we went and we got jabbed and we got boosted and whatnot. And right now, as I look down upon the Earth from the International Space Station, I have to ask all of you wonderful people, will you be taking the hantavirus vaccine or will you be prepared to die? And also, I must ask, do I have a piece of hay stuck within the crevices of my horse teeth? Little Russell Brand in space. Cactus Jack says Trump discloses the top secret UFO files. So as you've seen, we have released all of the UFO files. Anything you ever wanted to know about UFOs is in there. You might wonder why it took us so long. We wanted nothing but the facts. We didn't want you sifting through nonsense. And when Creepy Joe was in charge, the UFO files were filled with a bunch of misinformation and a bunch of lies. That's all these liberals do. They lie. They if you see their mouth moving, they're lying. So we went through with a fine-tooth comb. We ironed out all the details. We separated what's real and what's fake. And these UFO files, much more reliable than anything that you heard on those supposed Epstein files. All right. There you go. Right now, got a lot of genius out there in the cosmos, and they've been visiting. And the reason why the aliens from other dimensions have been visiting more often than not is because America right now is the hottest country in the world. So it makes sense that the extraterrestrials want to come be a part of the great success that we're having right now. As you know, I've successfully made America great again. So you have life forms of all different kinds coming from far and wide to experience what it's like to live in the hottest country in the world. All right. Let me see here. I think I got a few more clips to show you guys, and then we can move on from the subject. As I said, it might be a nothing burger. They could totally sweep this under the rug by next week and not talk about it at all anymore. Or this might be planned DMIC 2.0. So we'll find out soon enough. And they got their cronies talking about it as well. You know, like I saw that.
I know
that Ben Shapiro with his 7 million subs has this new video that just came out. Is Hantavirus the next global pandemic? And check this out. Look how many views he got. 36,000 views. Only 1,600 thumbs up. Only 415 comments. This is the official Ben Shapiro channel, you guys. Wow. So 7 million subs talking about the biggest news story in the world right now. 36,000 views. Guys, some of my videos get more comments than this. So I can get more engagement on some of my videos now than Ben Shapiro. Okay, I guess. Man, he's really fallen off.
Should you be masking up? No. Should you be worrying about shutting down your business? No. Should you be worried about sending your kids to school? No. You should go about your life. The media have an incentive to act as though every new hantavirus or disease is going to turn into COVID. So I want to begin with hantavirus. I know there are people who are freaking out about hantavirus, lots of headlines. Is it the new No, it's not the new COVID. Stop it. Just stop. Okay, so what happened is that there is a cruise ship called the MV Hondias. And according to the WHO, and I know the minute I say the World Health Organization, you throw up your hands and start screaming like a banshee because they did such a horrible job on COVID. Agreed. But here's the information we have thus far. 8 cases have been reported, including 3 deaths. 5 of the 8 cases were confirmed as hantavirus.
So you guys, he's wearing his teeny hat, and he's talking about this hantavirus, but he's breaking it out like, oh, should you wear a mask? Should you social distance? No, you guys, quit freaking out. And then he starts talking about the deaths, but he doesn't question any of it. So he doesn't start off by saying, supposedly these people died, or allegedly the news is telling us that these. So he's not coming at it from a skeptical point of view. So he's giving you the same narrative I'm noticing a bunch of other shills are. Guys, relax. This is not the same as COVID. Everybody relax. Quit freaking out. Quit freaking out, you guys. It's not like 2020, okay? Not another pandemic. This is different, all right? So let me just go over the facts. Here's how many people died. Here's what's going on. So they got their cronies giving you the narrative, whether you're on the right side or the left side. They got a crony repeating the same talking points.
About hantavirus, lots of headlines. Is it the new No, it's not the new COVID. Stop it. Just stop. Okay, so what happened is that there is a cruise ship called the MV Hondias. And according to the WHO, and I know the minute I say the World Health Organization, you throw up your hands and start screaming like a banshee because they did such a horrible job on COVID. Agreed. But here's the information we have thus far. 8 cases have been reported, including 3 deaths. 5 of the 8 cases were confirmed as hantavirus. So the hantavirus involved is the Andes virus. This is the only species known to be capable of limited transmission between humans. It's linked to close and prolonged contact. Typically, hantavirus is transmitted by somebody ingesting rat poop.
Yeah, guys, the only way that you can get this is if you eat rat shit. You'll get the rat shit fever. Row, row, row. The rat shit fever. Row, now, now. Rat shit fever. But only if you eat the rat shit. Or go for a walk looking at birds next to a dump that might have rats where there's also dust, and the rat shit mixes with the dust, gets airborne, and then you breathe it. Yeah, or that way, which is how they're saying that the cruise ship people got contaminated with this, right? So you either have to eat the rat shit or be out looking at some birds and accidentally breathe some rat shit infested dust. Yeah, those are the only 2 ways. So anybody you guys know who's actively breathing copious amounts of rat shit dust, you might want to avoid those people.
Basically, apparently, the way this started is that some of the people who were aboard this cruise ship got off the cruise ship in Argentina, and they went to a dump to birdwatch. Folks, don't go to places where there's tons of poop. It's just not a great thing to do. It's just not great. Anyway.
This is what Ben Shapiro does now, you guys. Folks, don't go to places where there's tons of poop. Hi, I'm Ben Shapiro. Guys, this is not the next pandemic. Calm down. You don't have to wear a mask. Just settle down. Guys, take my advice. Don't eat rat poop. Don't go to places where there is a lot of rat poop. If you go to a place and there is some rat poop, just leave, all right? Don't eat it, because if you eat it, that's how you might contract the hantavirus. I mean, come on, guys. I've got 7 million subs. I get 36,000 views, 400 people commenting. I've obviously got a massive amount of influence, and as an influencer, you should listen. So all you millions of people subscribe to me, don't go to places where there's poo-poo. If there's poo-poo, just get out of there. All right? I mean, these people went for a walk near where rat poo-poo was, and so in a way, they kind of deserve what happened to them. You should know better than to go walking places where there might be some rat poo-poo nearby. So if there's rat poo-poo in dust anywhere where you might be planning on going, well, then don't go there. It's as simple as that. Just stay away from the rat poop. Stay away from dust, because the dust might have rat poop mixed into it. So don't go anywhere where there might be dust. Don't go anywhere where there's rat poop. It's as simple as that. I mean, come on. Gotta love it. 7 million subscribers. Motherfuckers getting 36,000 views. Some of my NFL videos get way more views than that, and I get 1,000 comments. Like on my NFL videos that get a little bit of an algorithm stroke, I'll get like more views and way more comments. Like this amount of comments right here on a dude with this many subscribers who's as well known as he is, that's pretty bad, man. But, you know, his take in this content is fucking ridiculous and worthless. So there you go. Oh. All right. RY says RV does the Deemsters while talking about hantavirus. Right now, what a lot of people don't notice is that they had 3 people evacuated from this cruise, and supposedly 3 die. And of course, that's 33. It's Masonic numerology. It's right in your face. And of course, it was a 33-day cruise. Absolutely ridiculous. What they're trying to do is they're trying to keep you from finding out that the earth is flat and that this is God's creation, and that the sun shrinks into a dot. And I realized that the sun shrinks into a dot while I was smoking this psychoactive drug. You guys may have heard of it. Right now, I'm going to take a hit of the most psychoactive compound ever known. It was put here by God. And I'm hoping that God's going to speak through me, and I can tell you exactly what Heavenly Father thinks. Holy fuck shit. What? Fucking whoa. What? I don't what's happening? I don't know where I am. What the fuck is going on? I don't know what's happening. You guys. Oh my God. What the fuck? What the fuck? All right, so I just had one of the most profound trips of my life. It was absolutely ridiculous. All right. Oh, that was weird. All right. A deeper look says, how about Doc Holliday meets the Johnny Ringo of the New World Order with concocted hantavirus? Doc Holliday meets the Johnny Ringo. Are these like impressions that you expect me to do? Doc Holliday? I don't know how Doc Holliday... Johnny Ringo? What? All right, sir. So here's the deal. When it comes to impressions, you have to pick ones that you've seen me do before, or ones that you think I might be able to do. If it's something like I don't know, Doc Holliday, I don't even know like how Doc Holliday sounds. Johnny Ringo, I don't even know if I know who that is. So yeah, we're talking about 2 guys who like I have no idea what they sound like or what you expect me to do with this. So the best I can do is do this. Hi, I'm Doc Holliday. This is how Doc Holliday sounds because I don't know how Doc Holliday sounds. And I'm meeting Johnny Ringo. Hi, Johnny Ringo. Hi, Doc Holliday. Johnny Ringo and Doc Holliday have a similar voice because I don't know how either of those 2 guys sound. So this is Johnny Ringo hanging out with Doc Holliday, and we're here at the New World Order talking about the concocted hantavirus. So, Doc, what do you think about this concocted hantavirus? Well, Johnny, I think it's pretty crazy. What about you? I think it is also pretty crazy. We should go watch a Jack Morgan video now and take a hit, metaphorically speaking. All right. Bye. How was that? Was that close enough? I don't know if that's how they sound or not. I just took a stab in the dark that that's how they sounded. So if anyone ever asks me to do a voice that I don't know how to do, I'll just try and come up with a voice off the top of my head and hope that it matches, right? So there's a chance that that's exactly how Doc Holliday and Johnny Ringo sound, and I totally nailed it. How close I got, I really don't know. So I either did an excellent job or a fucking terrible job. One or the other. I won't know until I finish the stream, and don't go look up who those guys are and don't compare myself to them. You Gods is sending a super sticker. And the super sticker, let me check on my watch page because I can't see what the super sticker is unless I go to my watch page. It's a dancing pear that says fist bump. Thank you for the dancing fist bumping pear. I appreciate that. Fist bumps to you, sir. And to all the dancing pears out there. Hell yeah. Dancing pears. RY with your earlier Ben Shapiro impression was great. Yeah. See, so now I can add that to my repertoire. See? I may not know how to do Johnny Ringo and Doc Holliday having a NWO meeting, but I sure as shit can add Ben Shapiro to the repertoire, right? Do you have to wear a mask? No. Do you have to stay 6 feet apart? No. Just stay away from rat poo-poo. I mean, it's common knowledge, all right? You should already know better than to eat rat poop. So just don't do it. All right. So, yeah, I know he was some sort of like Wild West guy, but I don't know how he talks, right? And I haven't went and watched any old Western movies portraying Doc Holliday in a long ass time. And I haven't watched any Western movies at all in a long, long time. So, yeah, man. Doc Holliday and whoever the hell else, nope. Probably not going to happen. Thank you, RY, for the multiple super chats, brother. All right. So what do you guys think about the Hantavirus? Is it going to be a nothing burger, like gone by next week? Or do you guys think they're going to do something with this? And if you think they're going to do something with it, like what? Do you think they're going to go full-blown pandemic number 2? Or do you think that maybe they'll like do like a half-ass version this time? Maybe they have to have a few half-assed partial pandemics before they try the next big one that's even worse than COVID's, right? So perhaps they roll out one that's not that big of a deal, but they still go through all the motions. Right? I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. So I figured the only thing that we can do is just wait and see, right? So I haven't made up my mind yet whether this is a nothing burger that's going to be gone within a few days or whether they're going to stick with this and try and turn it into something. Paula K says it's 50-50. Kelly Yamaguchi said, if that lady said that nobody hasn't gotten any side effects, then it's a nothing burger. Truth Hurts says they're probably testing the waters, see who bites, then maybe proceed. All right, so anybody who missed the beginning of the stream, I'll repeat myself, will know that they mean business with this operation if they shut down the sports leagues and the casinos. Because last time, it was all just shit they're saying on TV until them damn casinos actually shut the doors and the sports leagues shut down. That's when I knew it wasn't no regular shit like we'd ever seen before. So last time I knew that this was different when I saw them shut the NBA down, right? And then my local casino shut the doors. That's when I knew that this was some different shit, unlike anything else we had ever been through before. So that's going to be the measure of whether or not they're serious with running this operation to the level they did before. If they shut the casinos down and the the scripted sports leagues, then that means they're going to go full assault with this new hantavirus. But if they don't do that, then we'll know they're not as serious this time. Zach Evans says they'll shut down the airlines first. I'm just wondering why they shut down Spirit if they really want it to spread. So then I wonder about some of these shutdowns and tour cancellations I keep hearing. Like if some of these corporate executives find out what's going to happen and then they go ahead and just shut down operation early. Like if some of these bands that are canceling their tours all of a sudden, like if maybe they got word beforehand that this was going to happen and shut everything down. So they're just getting out in front of it early and shutting down their airline or shutting down their business, suspending operations, right? So I'm trying to look for signals. And so there's a few things that have me scratching my head, like I'm seeing music tours shutting down, but that's also because a lot of people are just not wanting to spend a lot of money on entertainment right now. But you also have to figure the entertainment industry, that some of these bigwigs might have caught word that there's going to be another lockdown or another pandemic. So then they can have some of these tours just shut down ahead of time and say that it's because of low ticket sales. So I was going to get into the next topic, Blue Dot Fever canceling tours. So essentially, a lot of big name acts, musicians and whatnot, and entertainment venues are having trouble selling tickets across the board for all different types of entertainment, especially concerts. And they're calling it Blue Dot Fever because on Ticketmaster, they represent your spot, your seating chart as a blue dot. So when you click on the blue dots on the seating chart to buy your ticket, they're talking about that blue dot. So this Blue Dot Fever is in regards to all these tours that are being canceled. But I'm also wondering if some of these, like I said, some of these big wig types maybe get some of this information and they decide to shut down the tour because they know there's going to be another pandemic possibly coming. So I don't know. I can't say. I'm not given any information ahead of time. So I'm seeing these stories unfold just as you guys are in real time. So I'm not given any advance information. So all I can do is speculate in my own head and think what they maybe could do, what they maybe might do. But I'm not going to let my speculation let me go crazy, right? Because I can speculate all damn day long and then it turn out to be a nothing burger. Let me pull up the Blue Dot Fever stories. I'll show you guys some of these big artists like Post Malone and Meghan Trainor. These pop artists are all of a sudden having a ton of trouble selling tickets. Check this out.
To the epidemic spreading across the music industry. Have you heard of the so-called Blue Dot Fever? It's a term coined by the internet and tabloid newspapers after concerts are canceled due to low ticket sales. The main symptom represented by the little blue dots on Ticketmaster's venue map. Artists including Post Malone, the Pussycat Dolls, and Meghan Trainor all canceling concert dates as speculation grows over weak ticket sales.
Industry plant, in my opinion, his talent level does not match the hype whatsoever. The guy can sing a little bit, but for the most part, doesn't have that much musical talent. And the face tattoos, just the mark of an industry plant. And then Pussycat Dolls looks like a three fellas to me. And then Meghan Trainor, right? What has she got? Like a one hit song. So yeah, apparently these industry plant artists are all having trouble with their current tours. And these were all like artists who were doing really well just a couple of years ago, last year before, selling lots of tickets. And now all of a sudden, the tickets aren't moving. And it's partially due to the fact of rising costs of everything. But you also have to wonder if they're planning on rolling out another pandemic, then they can also have all these artists shut down their tours early and then claim it's because of low ticket sales.
It comes as the average ticket price in 2025 hit $135, and as you know, skyrocketing during resale. So are concert goers at their breaking point over prices? Let's bring in Puck contributor and host of the Decibel and Docket podcast, Dave Brooks. Dave, thanks so much for joining Top Story tonight. So what do you think is this? I mean, I know at some point there's going to be a reckoning with Americans and the prices they're paying for live events. Is it this, or is it the acts not just drawing enough fans?
This guy is wearing a wig. This guy does not have jet black hair. And it's not just dyed hair. This dude's wearing a wig.
Oh, it's a little of both, I think. I think that, there's obviously demand isn't really strong for some of these acts. I mean, look at Post Malone. He just toured last year and just did stadiums, He's definitely got enough demand to headline Stagecoach Festival last weekend, but, fans aren't necessarily buying tickets for this stadium tour with Jelly Roll. Maybe it's a little bit of demand. I also think it's ticket prices. Some of them are very expensive. And
stadium tour with Jelly Roll. So not only do you get a tattooed face industry plant, you get another tattooed face industry plant opening for him. Who are these fucking people who keep supporting these tattoo face industry plants? At what point do you fucking grow up and wake up and realize that you're listening to government funded music and that the artist isn't the one actually coming up with those tunes? But no, the public doesn't fucking realize that. A lot of people, they follow whatever trending pop star is on TV and getting pushed. And the talent doesn't really matter at all.
Fans are spending their money in other ways.
Yeah, we're seeing resales climb dramatically. Do you think Americans are saying enough is enough, even with the resale market?
Yeah, I think people have had major price fatigue. Prices have continue to climb year over year. They finally flattened from 2024 to 2025. It'll be interesting to see what happens in 2026. But yeah, people are tired of paying these exorbitant prices for tickets, and they're choosing to spend their money elsewhere.
Post-pandemic, right, we saw this resurgence in people wanting to see live music. I'd argue it was also there with sports as well. Sports is still one of the only segments of television that is growing and streaming as well. Do you think the industry right now is oversaturated with performances, or are people just adding too many dates to their calendars?
There's just, you can say oversaturated. There's a lot of stuff out there, and like any marketplace, whether it's film or concerts, some things are going to fail, and some things are going to work.
It's funny that this is happening because I decided that this year I was going to not spend as much money as I have in the past on going out for entertainment. So I usually go to a couple concerts a year. I've seen Blue Oyster Cult play over 30 times. They were one of my favorite classic rock bands to go watch live. And one of the reasons I enjoyed going to watch them was that they weren't too popular and I could get a good seat and see an old classic rock band. And I was never too far away. But I've seen them like over 30 times. And so they're just getting older, and it's pretty much the same show. They're not doing anything to like make it better. So I saw them last November in Anaheim, and the tickets were $180 front row, but I had to drive to Anaheim. So the cost to get to Anaheim and back from Sacramento cost like $150 or so. Like I had to fill up my gas tank a couple times, maybe $200 or so in gas to get down to Anaheim and back. And then the concessions, like they were charging like $15 for a beer, And so between the concessions and the travel down there and the food and drinks while traveling down there and back, it was like I probably spent, I don't know, $500 to go watch a concert. You know what I mean? So this year I'm thinking, do I want to like spend the money to go have the same experience that I've already had a shitload of times? And I already told myself, nah, you know what, this year I'm just going to save my money. So now that I'm seeing this, it's like it's matching exactly what decision I came to on my own. You know, like I usually go to like one or two, at least two concerts a year or so. And this was the year I was like, you know what? I'll just save my money this year. I've seen all the bands I've pretty much wanted to see, and then all the bands that are out there that I wouldn't mind seeing. They're really old and they're charging a lot of money, and I can just watch their concerts here on YouTube. So like, for instance, if I want to see like, you know, Fish at the Sphere, do I want to spend the money to go to Las Vegas and buy the ticket and get price gouged up the ass and back? Or should I just watch Fish at the Sphere here on YouTube? You know what I mean? Like I could probably just eat some mushrooms and watch Fish at the Sphere here on YouTube and have almost as much fun without spending, you know, $500-$1,000 to actually go to Las Vegas and watch them assholes, right? Does that make sense? So I kind of came to this same decision. So seeing that other people are also thinking the same thing, people are tired of overspending at concerts. But the fact they're calling it Blue Dot Fever, and then they happen to be running this cruise ship deadly virus outbreak story at the same time. So it's like Hantavirus, Blue Dot Fever, tour cancellations. I don't know. It's kind of strange that this story is running simultaneously. I got a super chat from Cactus Jack. He says, screw you and your freedom, Arnold.
Right now, what you need to be doing is you need to take this very seriously. 4 out of 10 people will die if you get the antivirus. You don't want to go anywhere with these rat trappings. And if you come into contact with anyone who might have come into contact with rat trappings, you're going to want to wash your hands for a full 31,000. You need to use a hot water, use soap and water. You need to do 1,000, the 1,000, 1,000 for the full count of 31,000. That way you make sure that the entirety of the antivirus is not able to go from your arms and be spread from human touch. You don't want with the human contact to spread the virus. Because right now, you don't have any freedom. In fact, screw your freedom. Right now, everyone's health is more important than your individual freedom. Our collective health is more important than your freedom. Screw your freedom. In fact, I'm going to unscrew your freedom right now. I'm going to take the freedom out of the foundation. We need to reassess what the word freedom really means.
All right. Decrane 4D says Trump trying to convince Holden WWE is real, but football is fake. Let me tell you something, Holden. I personally have been in the ring with Vince McMahon, and you can go back and you can watch the tape. I literally beat Vince McMahon to a bloody pulp, and then I shaved his head in front of everybody. I kicked Vince McMahon's butt inside of a WWE ring, and then I shaved his head, completely humiliated him. You can go back and you can watch all the proof. In fact, I was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. And that's an honor only for the real wrestlers such as yours truly. So it's actually the NFL playing these fake football. In fact, Jake the Awake does a great job showing everybody how fake the NFL is. But the WWE, I assure you, is 100% real hand-to-hand combat. All you got to do is go back and watch when I humiliated Vince McMahon. He's never been the same since. Vince McMahon, he's went crazy over recent years, and that's why I no longer am in contact with Vince McMahon ever since I kicked his ass so badly and humiliated himself in front of everybody. He's never been the same. That's why you see all this bad stuff happening to Vince McMahon. It was shortly after I kicked his ass and shaved his head that you saw the downfall of Vince McMahon. All right. That actually did happen. Trump and Vince McMahon did have a angle where they fought in a WWE ring. Trump actually threw some really terrible punches. Oh, it was hilarious. If you guys never have seen that, it's worth going back and taking a look at. Trump and Vince McMahon had a feud, and they didn't have an official match, but what they did have a brawl segment where Trump threw some worked punches, really terrible looking punches at Vince, and Vince had to sell it like he was getting beat up by Trump. In no world at any point would Vince McMahon have ever gotten beat up by Donald Trump. In fact, back at the time, Vince McMahon was still pretty jacked, and Vince had taken a bunch of steroids and was still in pretty good shape for a guy his age. And no chance would Trump ever have at beating up Vince McMahon at any point, at any time ever in history. So to see Trump throw these terrible worked punches and Vince have to pretend to get beat up, it was very comical. They replaced the Vince McMahon character several years ago, so the real Vince McMahon hasn't been seen in many years. But that's a story for another live stream. All right. RY says, I noticed so many of these pop stars and comedians, including Post Malone, promote Bud Light. Of all the beers, why nasty ass Bud Light? Money. Money, 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 and more money. So if they back up a dump truck full of greenbacks and they say, we're going to give you all of this money, and all you have to do is have this Bud Light logo facing this camera and then pretend to take a drink of it, and then we'll have you hanging out with these beautiful ladies while you do it, and then we want you to go ahead and throw up the devil horns and smile. That's all. We just want you to take a drink and throw up these devil horns and then smile real big into the camera. That's all you got to do, right? So there's plenty of industry plants and sellouts who are like, oh, so I get $1 million and all I got to do is just smile and pretend to drink that shit. Where do I sign my name? Right? So yeah, Post Malone, he had a cutaway during the Super Bowl a couple years ago. And the Super Bowl's the most watched sporting event in the world, right? So you got tens of millions of people watching live, and they had a cutaway where he had a tall can of Bud Light, and he made sure that the logo was facing the camera. And then he threw up the devil horns as he was holding it and smiling. Gee, I wonder if that product placement helps sell a few more cases of Bud Light. Oh yeah, and Pat McAfee, right? Pat McAfee, he got the I don't know how many millions of dollars to promote FanDuel and Bud Light. So Pat McAfee is one of those guys who's like essentially a human billboard for hire. So if you want a human to promote your product, and you want this human to have no shame at all and influence their audience to partake in this product, and the product itself is debaucherous and sketchy, like Bud Light or online gambling. Well, Pat McAfee, he's your guy. So there's industry plants out there, such as like a Pat McAfee type, who, if you got the money, he'll promote anything. Oh, you need me to drink Bud Light while I tell you to go bet on FanDuel and give away losing picks? Back up that truck. Give me 33.3 million and I will drink a Bud Light and give away a losing football parlay to all my watchers and to all my followers, right? I'll give away losing picks while I guzzle Bud Light on camera. But you got to pay me $33.3 million, right? So there's a price tag for everybody. And there's a industry plant out there who has no problem as long as they're getting paid to do it, you know?
Plenty of things that are working right now, but it's just once we kind of get these high-profile cancellations all kind of calm together, and then someone in the newspaper comes up with a funny term like "blue dot fever," it kind of sticks and it resonates with people.
It's weird though because
got the blue dot fever, round, 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 or the rat shit fever, round, 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 blue dot fever, meow, 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 or rat shit fever, meow, meow, meow. Take your pick. Do you want blue dot fever or the rat shit fever? All right. Adam says $500 for a concert, Jake. You can go to a cruise for that. Well, check it out. I had a front row seat, like front row center. And so whoever your favorite artist is, I don't know if you've ever been to see them front row, but it's quite an amazing experience to see like anybody who you like and enjoy, to see them like front row. That's like the ultimate, right? And there's some artists who are so popular, you can't get a front row seat because it's always going to sell out and there'll always be some other jackass who gets that ticket before you. So I was able to see a legendary band from the 70s who isn't as popular anymore, but still puts on a decent show. And so I was able to see Blue Oyster Cult like front row several times. And so the last time I saw them was in Anaheim at the Grove. It's a venue called the Grove, and it only holds like maybe 500 people or so. So it's a smaller venue. And so to see a band that you like front row, it's like, it is a cool experience, right? And so the tickets, the front row ticket was $180, but the cost of the gas to get to Anaheim was what really drove up the total cost of the trip. So I drove down there a day early and I stayed overnight. So after the concert, I found a spot to park my van and just stayed the night in my van. And then the next day I drove back home. But yeah, the total cost of the trip and the food and drinks and the ticket and whatever, yeah, probably was around $400 to $500. But like that's one of the things that I like to do was go watch a concert and be able to just forget the world and just be entranced by the music, right? And so I would eat some psychedelic mushrooms and get all messed up, and then I would be caught up in the psychedelic world of the 70s rock music of Blue Oyster Cult, and then I would have fun. But after I've seen them now like so many times, I was like, all right, do I really need to keep paying this much? So this year I decided to save my money and focus more on other things, right? Making my own music, for instance, or going on a different trip, going on and seeing something new, going on a vacation and checking out something new or doing something that I haven't done before. So I didn't want to repeat what I've already done a shitload of times, even though it's fun. I've never actually taken a cruise as an adult. I've been on like some short mini cruises, but I've never like a day cruise across the bay in the Monterey Bay when I was younger, but I haven't been on a cruise as an adult and stayed in like a cabin. So I've never done one of those big giant cruise ships. I've heard stories that they're fun, and I've heard stories that they aren't as much fun as you might think, and that you get sick of it quick after you walk around the ship for the first night or two, then you get bored. So I've heard stories, cruise ships aren't as much fun as you might hope or might think. And then I've also heard that they're awesome and super relaxing. So I don't know. I guess it all depends on how good of a cruise you take and where you go and who you're with and all that mess. And I read that one. Okay. Demas says, Jake, can you do a show while shrooming? Well, I've had mixed results doing that. I've done that in the past and started to kind of freak out while, live doing the stream, and then just start to get emotional, and then I go back and watch, then I'm like embarrassed about what I did on camera. So it can be a bit overwhelming. And so if I was going to do that, I might just eat like a little tiny bit so that I'm not like freaking out on camera and trying to entertain you guys while like tripping my balls off. But it is possible. Usually there's subjects where I have to explain in detail things that like require me to like have a functioning mind, and I have to be able to explain things in detail. And so like if I am tripping my balls off too much, it can be hard to like explain what I need to explain, right? So sometimes I have to like prep for these streams and watch all these clips and then kind of go over in my head like what I want to say, how I want to say it, because I don't have a script, but I will write down like on a piece of paper like a few things I want to talk about or topics I want to touch. So there is prep work that goes into this, and then once I'm live, I have to be able to stay composed enough to be able to explain what I'm talking about effectively, right? So if I alter my mental state too much and I'm tripping my balls off too much, so it can kind of hinder doing this, right? So to answer your question, yes, as long as I don't take too much. Rose says a cruise would seem boring, especially that one that they showed us. Imagine being on board with that whiny gay guy and then 3 people die, and then you have to be quarantined in Nebraska all because you wanted to go on a cruise. Just doesn't seem like that much fun. Seems like kind of a ripoff. RY says, Jake, I'm seeing so many mainstream former MAGA influencers now whining and crying foul about Trump. Well, that's because they're going to swing the presidential pendulum back the other way. They swing the presidential pendulum from left to right, back to the left again, and then back to the right, and then back to the left again. And that's what they've been doing ever since I've been alive. And before I was born, they were doing that. So my guess is they're going to continue swinging that presidential pendulum back and forth. So it's almost a guarantee that the next president is going to be a liberal. So what they do is they get the population to get really, really fed up with Trump so that they can make it look like people naturally decided to go back and vote for a candidate from the left, right? The people naturally got disgusted by the way that the Republicans ran this term while they were in office. So the people just unanimously decided to vote liberal in this next election. So they can make it appear that this is how it naturally, organically played itself out. The people just naturally got sick of Trump and organically decided to vote more liberal in the next election. And that's, to be expected. When was the last time they had, 5-10 Republicans win in a row, right? I've never seen that happen. Since I've been since I've been alive, they've been swinging the presidential pendulum back and forth. So we had George Bush Sr., right? And then we had Bill Clinton. So they went from right to left, and then George Bush's son back to right again, and then Obama back to left again, and then we get Trump, Biden, Trump. So they just keep swinging it back and forth, right, left, right, left, right, left. So it just makes sense to assume they're going to continue with that same formula. And I'm not one of these people who's convinced at all that Trump's going to stay in office for another term. I think that that's bullshit to appease the MAGAs right now, to keep them from thinking about the inevitable next liberal president. So all the Trump supporters, you got to keep them thinking that possibly Trump is going to remain president. So that's why they have that story out there that Trump might run a third time, right? Or just take over and be like the permanent president until he dies, anoint himself like a king, essentially. So they have that story out there to keep the current Trump taint-looking MAGAs believing that their guy is going to stick around. They don't want those people to realize that the Trump regime is on its way to ending really soon, and that the next president is almost guaranteed to be liberal. They don't want the MAGAs thinking about that. But yeah, if you think about it logically, how they swing that presidential pendulum back and forth, well, then it makes sense that the next president is going to be a liberal. So who will it be? Maybe Bernie Sanders, or maybe the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. Two possible choices. Truth Hurts says, boats equal bust out another 1,000. I used to work on boats, wastes of money. I heard that on like Pawn Stars was the first time I heard that. Boat equals bust out another 1,000. Probably like a decade or so ago, back when Pawn Stars was huge. Somebody like brought in their boat to try and pawn off, and Rick called in as boat expert, and he's like, well, you know what boat stands for? Bust out another 1,000. Yeah, I've never owned a boat, but a long time ago, my mom was married to a guy who had a pontoon boat, and it had a roof over it, and we could climb up on the roof and jump off the roof of the pontoon boat into the water. And he would strap a jet ski to the front of his pontoon boat. And it was so much fun to take a pontoon boat out on the lake and have the jet ski on the pontoon boat that you could take into the water. So he had this PVC pipe ramp that he made of his on his own. And this PVC pipe ramp, he could take the jet ski and drive the jet ski up onto the pontoon boat and strap it down, drive the pontoon boat around, and then he could just take the jet ski off of the pontoon boat by sliding it back down the PVC ramp. And so, man, it was so much damn fun to have that pontoon boat when I was a kid, and then the jet ski. So if I had money, shit, a pontoon boat and a jet ski would be hella fun. But I'm sure, like you're saying, it's It's a costly hobby, I'm sure. But man, it was fun as fuck. I was probably 10, 11, 12 when I would go out on that damn boat and ride the jet ski. So much fun. If you can't afford it and you do take your boat out there, it is one of those things that when you get out there, the world goes away. So let's say like you take your boat out fishing. Once you get out there and the sounds of the cars and the roads are gone and the sounds of the people and the TV is gone and it's just you and the water and the fishing rod, there's something to it that is really quite nice, right? So it might be worth it to some people to spend that money, right? So I can see why, there's people out there that, like, if that's the one thing they're going to spend lots of money on, they got to be able to get out there and fish out there on the lake, right? All right. Lint Away Air Duct Cleaning with a donation says, when was last time you went to a doctor? Been years for me. Oh my God, so long that I can't remember that the last time I needed to go. God, one time when I was a teenager, maybe 17, 18 years old, so many, many years ago, I had a lump in the back of my throat that was like swelling up and had this really bad sore throat, and it was like hurting to like just take a swallow of any food or anything, and I could see it in the mirror when I would look, like it was next to my tonsils. I could see this like big red lump in the back of my throat, and so didn't have health insurance, and my mom was like, "Oh, go to the county hospital," and so my mom let me, or she told me to go to the county hospital and that she'd help me pay for it. So I remember I went to the county hospital and he gave me some drug. I forget what the name of it was. And it knocked it out. It got rid of that shit within a couple days. So whatever he gave me, it worked. That lump in the back of the throat was gone pretty quickly. So, but that was a shitload of years ago. God. So yeah, I haven't went to a doctor for a checkup or any ailment or anything in so long. Bob Lines says, do Arnold telling sheeps to jab up with rat poop jab.
Let me tell you something. You need to get down to the clinic right now. You need to get down, not to the chopper, but to the clinic. You need to get the antivirus vaccine, all right? Some people are saying that you're going to get the rat shit fever. This is nothing to joke about. Very serious. There's people out there come into contact with copious amounts of the rat poop. So right now, you need to get the chemical concoction. I want you to get down to the clinic and get pumped up with the antivirus vaccine, all right? You don't deserve freedom unless you take the proper concoctions. You need to get pumped up right now. I implore you to take this chemical concoction right now. Get down.
There you go. He's got the rat shit fever. Rat shit fever. All right, y'all. I'm actually getting a bit tired, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Starting to feel hungry, and I notice when I start to get hungry and a little tired, I start to fumble over my words, and that's already starting to happen. So I guess we can go ahead and wrap it up, and I'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. And we will reconvene in a few days or so. I'll try and pump out a video. If they keep talking about this virus, I'll make a video about it. And so If they shut up about it, then we'll move on to the next world stage operation. So either way, I'll cover it if there's more to cover, and if it's a nothing burger, then we'll just move on to the next fake scripted story. All right. LaFleur says missed super chats. All right, my bad. Let me make sure I catch up on all those before I shut it down. Oh, yeah, I missed this one from Lint Away Duct Cleaning. Says, can you talk about Frankenstein veggies? I don't eat vegetables hardly at all anymore. So I'm pretty much a meat and rice, meat and potatoes guy. And I know, rice and potatoes probably aren't the best thing, but it's a good way to stretch out my meals so I can buy, like chicken or pork or beef or whatever, and then I add some rice and potatoes to it to help make the meal go further. And so I'm mainly eating that, and I don't eat that many vegetables hardly at all anymore. But yeah, I guess it's possible, these Frankenstein vegetables, you don't see any of these vegetables growing in the wild. Like, you're never going to find out in the wild a bell pepper, right? You're never going to find a broccoli out in the wild. So in a way, these vegetables are Frankenstein plants because they don't grow out in the wild anywhere, right? So yeah, man, I'm skeptical of the veggies, and also skeptical of their supposed nutritional content. I have family members who think that vegetables are the healthiest thing that you can eat, and they think that the vegetable is more healthy than meat. Whereas I'm the opposite. I'm like, screw the vegetable. Give me twice as much meat, right? So I don't eat that many veggies anymore. And I don't have any adverse health effects that are showing or that I'm experiencing because I don't eat the vegetables. So when my family looks at me cross-eyed when I say that I don't care about vegetables and I hardly ever eat vegetables, I'm like, hey, well, I don't have any health effects that I'm experiencing by not eating veggies that I know of. So as far as I know, I'm doing pretty good without the veggies. So I guess they're not really necessary. Read that one. RY wants Russell Brand as a stranded passenger, but in space. So I've just received word that somebody up here in the International Space Station has tested positive for the Hantavirus, and it's probably because they've come into close contact with rat droppings. And so now I've been advised that for an indefinite amount of time, I have to stay here in quarantine on the space station. I'm not quite sure what to think about it, because I quite enjoy floating around up here in outer space, but at the same time, I sort of miss being at home. I miss me mum. I miss being able to have sexual relations with underage women. So therefore, I sort of miss being at home on Earth, and I kind of wish that I could come home. Right now, I want to let you know we're in this together. This is real. We are real people. This is nothing to joke about. Rat shit fever is very, very real. And as you can look at my rat face, knockered face right now, and you can see I've already finger fucked the piece of hay that was stuck between my horse teeth. All right. Russell Brand stranded in space. They should turn that into a show. I'll bet you he could revive his career if they started a new show called Russell Brand in Space. Or maybe not. Maybe it would suck. All right. Davey D from the LaFleur Network said, appreciate what you do. Thumbs up. Good stream tonight, buddy. Thank you, Davey D. Let me make sure I didn't miss any of these super chats. Read this one. And got the Arnold one. Got the Frankenstein veggies. Last time I went to the doctor. Mega influencer. Or yep, got that. Got that. All right. So pretty sure I'm caught up on all the super chats. Yeah. Okay. So I think we'll go ahead and wrap it up now. Thank you guys. I had a fun time hanging out with you guys tonight. Please, before you go, do your boy a favor and hit the thumbs up. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video or the next live stream. Have a great night. Peace out. Much love. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.